copied. Okay. Now I'm going to connect to this machine. Okay. Now today we are going to see something additional. Okay, which is like a little bit advanced. Ansible. If you go for a interview, if they ask you that if you know Ansible, then whatever the topic we are going to discuss, they will surely will ask 100%. Maybe you can make them the 200% also, you can say. Okay. So today we are going to see something about Ansible roles. Okay, so there is something called concept is called Ansible roles. What is Ansible roles? Means Ansible roles is used to define the set of actions together. Okay, so you can just so when I'm explaining, you will get to know. Okay, so whenever you are just creating Ansible role, okay, for example, I can create a one Ansible role for one team. Okay, another I can create another Ansible role for another team, or one application I can create one role, another application I can create another role. Okay, the Ansible is used for it will be useful for the automation. Okay, so Ansible roles. What is Ansible roles? So as part of a definition. Okay, so okay, so Ansible role is used to organize your files. Okay, for particular, for example, like that's what it means. Provides the structured way to organize the tasks. Okay, that's what I'm telling. If you wanted to create one particular task for a one team, and for the next team you want to create some different tasks. Okay, if you do like that, if you do like that, then you will have a proper for now, right? I have a playbook.yaml is there. Okay, yesterday we have seen the playbook.yaml is there, that is going to be working, right? Now if I have more, if you have so many files are there, that's not been organized, right? So that's not going to be organized. We need to make it as an organized way. Okay, so for that one only, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go to some kind of a different directory. Okay, mkdir Ansible test, something like that. Okay, now I'm in Ansible test directory. Okay, this directory is empty. Okay, nothing is there. Just for example, wherever you can create anything. Okay, now there is one command called Ansible Galaxy. Okay, so Ansible Galaxy. What is Ansible Galaxy? Means Ansible Galaxy is used to create a set of set of roles. For example, what I'm going to do now is that I'm not doing anything, right? So I don't have any kind of files or anything. Okay, what I'm going to do now is that Ansible Galaxy init. Okay, Ansible Galaxy init with some kind of a folder name. The folder name can be my role or role one. Okay, so the role one is successfully initialized. As you can see here, the Ansible Galaxy init role one. Whenever I'm just giving role one, it's very simple command, right? Ansible Galaxy init with some kind of a folder name, any name. Okay, so that role will be created. Now, what happened if you, because it was previously it was empty directory. Now, if you can give ls, there is a folder will be created. Okay, so if you can go inside the folder, there will be set of folders is created. Okay, so there are if you can see ls-al. Okay, so these many folders has been created inside this one. So now what are we going to do now is that, right? Instead of running the files from outside, so simply running Ansible playbook with a file name, right? So now we are going to run the roles only. I'm creating role one. Okay, I'm going to create a role two now. Okay, role 1 is there. I'm going to create a role 2. So what's the command to do that? Ansible Galaxy init role 2. If I can have this one, the role 2 is created. Okay. Now if you can see this ls-al role 2 also will have a proper folder structure. Okay. So now we'll see like Ansible let's see what are nothing will be there inside. Okay. So if you can see this one, everywhere there'll be one file will be there. Okay. Let's see what is there inside the defaults and files and everything. So inside the main thing is tasks. Is the main things. Okay. So main folder the tasks. So under tasks there is a main.yaml is there. Okay. So let's see cat. Okay. So for example, I'm going to role 1 for example. Okay. Role okay, role 1, and you can create I'm going to tasks, and there is a file is there. Okay, main.tf file. It's the empty file, nothing is there. If you can see vi main.tf yaml, there will be a empty file. It will ask you to create your own code. Okay, and similarly let's go inside to variables cd vats vi. Here also main file is there. Okay, that's also empty. So what it'll do is it'll create the folder structure for you. Okay, it'll create folder structure whichever the files you want. For example, I have a 2 project. Okay, so first project should go into role 1. Second project files should go into role 2. Okay, I'm going to show you that how we can just run that particular role 1 or role 2 from the playbook. Okay, you got it now. Now inside this tasks, I'm going to tasks. Okay, I'm going back to the tasks. Okay, here a main.tf file will be there, right? So I already created one. So it takes some time, so to organize all the files and everything. So I already created one role already, and I'm going to show you that how that role is going to be working. Okay, now if you can go to here, now I have one folder called my role. Okay, now can please tell me that how this could have been created. How did he create this one? Uh, Ansible, Galaxy, init, my role. If I can give, it will create. Okay, I already created it. Okay, if you can go inside my role, all the files are there. Just like that, what we created newly. The reason why I want to show you is that so nothing has been new. So everything has been created by init only. Now you can go to tasks. There is one file is there. Inside this file, I have added the code what we added yesterday. What we added yesterday? Inside this main.tf, okay, vi main.tf, I've added the install web server, HTTP, okay, start web server, all these things I've added. Okay, this is the variable. I given this and this one as a variable. Okay, so now I'm going to show you that how this gonna work. Okay, now I come back. Okay, I come back again. Now everything is exactly the same. Everything is exactly whatever we are running. Everything is same. But if you can go to, if for example, if you go to a playbook.yaml, so this is what we have run yesterday, right? This is standalone code. Instead of running this one, what are we going to run now is that we are going to run ansible.yaml file, which is running my role. It doesn't have any configurations. What it will do? Roles. Okay, and it's mentioning that my role. Okay, so now whenever I'm running this one, it'll go and check all the files inside that role. Okay, it'll run as a all combined. Okay, it works as a combined one. Now I'm going to run this one. Okay, so as you can see here, cat ansible.yaml, and here role is there, my role is there. Okay, let's go. Let's create a new role and then add a new role, and we can see again. Okay, now a role is there. Now how do I run it one? Ansible playbook, and the host is HTTPD. What is HTTPD host? Why I've given host as HTTPD? What's the reason? Huh? No. No. Why I given host as HTTPD? Huh? Port? No. I can say any name. But what is hosts? No. Where I define this hosts? Host.ini, right? If you can see cat host.ini, I have a file. I have a variable called. I have a the group called HTTPD. That's why I'm giving HTTPD here. If you can change this one here, what I have to do? I have to change here also. Okay, so become true. Become true means it's run as a root user. Okay, it run as a sudo. Okay, now roles is going to be my role. Okay, and here this is the IP address I've given. So far we have given host name, right? So now I'm giving IP address also. So what is the IP address? This one. This is the IP address of this one, test host. Okay, this is the public IP address. This one, right? So if you can see this one, this is the IP address of this machine. Now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to run the HTTPD installation on against this host. Okay. Now what I have to do everything else is exactly same. So Ansible. Now can you tell me Ansible? Somebody tell me Ansible playbook. Next command. Host.ini. Huh? Huh? My role. -I. Right. You should remember all these commands. At least you write. Huh? -I. If I don't give -I, okay. I'm giving just like this. Okay. It's telling you that unable to read the matches file. So -I is an option to mention that where is my host file is there. -I is the option to mention this file name. If you want to specify the file name, you have to give -I with the file name where your host file is there. Okay. Now I give. Okay. Now it's working. Okay. It is installed. The roles. Bharat,
Sir,
why you're late?
sir, వెళ్ళబోతున్నా sir, sorry sir.
Okay. So please check the recording. Afterwards. I already covered. Okay. I'm going to create a new role again now. Okay. So let's see how that new role will be working and everything. Okay. Now the new role is working, right? Now I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to my role. KVI tasks and main.tf, and here I've mentioned that variable, right? That variable, where I have mentioned this variable, this is the variable. Okay, so if you want to mention some kind of variables in kind of places, everyone know variables, right? Instead of having hard coded in the program, we have a variables that can be defined from different files or somewhere. Okay. Now you can go to vars, cd vars. Okay, so vi main.tf, main.yaml. Here see variable files. The service name is going to be httpd. I'm mentioning here, right? So this is the good way of organizing the folders. Okay, so now all my YAML files will be there in the tasks. Okay, and then all my variables will be in the vars. What about the other things? Other things, other folders, there is some kind of a reason why we want to do it, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the folder. So whenever you're giving Ansible, right, it will go on inside the roles. It will check with all the files. It's like, oh, it's a var. I have to take this var files. But you can also mention the var files in anywhere. Okay, but it's a properly organized way of doing it. Okay, now we'll see the Ansible roles file structure. So the default is there, so Ansible, the default folder is there. Ansible default values includes the default values includes the default variables for the role. Here we design some of the default variables, but we have to low priority and usually overwritten methods for the customized role. So if you wanted to give some kind of a roles, I mean default roles, so that has to be running for everything. Okay, you can just do it. Files contain a static and custom files that roles use to perform the various tasks. Okay, for example, here the files, if you can go to the files, these files will be empty. Okay, for there is a task operations, right? Okay, what we can do is we can create one kind of a file called, okay, touch. Okay, and I'll give some file name. Can somebody tell me some good file name? Anything? Okay, so anything, huh? Cloud. Okay, cloud.txt file is there. Okay, this file is there. I created this file is in the tasks. Okay, and we'll see that how we can copy these files from from this machine to the remote machine. We can write a piece of code to copy this file to the remote directory. We can do if you want to include this kind of a files. Okay, and you can just include it here. Okay, for example, now I want to do, okay, Ansible file copy uh, code. Okay, Ansible copy module explain uh, how to file two files. Okay, so there are some kind of a different examples. Okay, so now the name is copy. Okay, the source copy will be under files src, destination will be files destination. Okay, now shall we try this one? you know
We want to mention that which instance we have
it will be copying into all the instances. What we already mentioned instances in host.ini, right? Yeah, there we have to mention. Okay, now where I have to add this thing. Copy file.yaml. No, I have to add it in a tasks file. Right, I have a task file here. I'm just copying the what's indentation. So please make sure that the indentation is correct. Okay, so if indentation is not proper, then it will not work. So the file name will be under files. The file name, whatever we have mentioned, cloud.txt. The destination file will be, I'm going to copy it under /tmp. Okay, I'm going to copy it under /tmp. Why? You don't understand. No? You don't understand. Why are you crying? Don't cry. Okay. So, this is copied. Is it tough? What I done is tough or easy?
Actually, you can do from here itself.
Huh?
Copy the source to destination.
From ACP? Yeah, yes, we can do. Yes, we can do. But what is the purpose of? Okay, I'm doing from this one. Okay, I won't do it for a thousand missions. What will you do? You waste your time. The which
For that purpose, we need to change.
that's what See, for all the purpose, not even for one file or more files. So whatever the things, if you wanted to mention, you have to be mentioning like this. Okay. Now we'll see. We'll try to run and see. We'll see how it's working. Maybe that it can give some error also. I don't know. You know. See, it's copy src or txt. This one is already been done. So but we changed the cloud.txt. Let's see in the remote machine. We'll log into this machine. This machine the IP address we given, right? Let's see in this machine. See that whether this file is there under temp or not. If it is there, then operation is successful. Okay. Now we should know what is the purpose of doing this, right? So if I have some kind of 1,000 machines or 2,000 machines, I want to install HTTP, I want to install configuration files, all these things I wanted to copy. I will tell you why we need to do this. Okay. Now I'm here. Now see, cloud.txt is there. How it came here? Yeah, from the YAML, from the Ansible is copied to here. Understand? Now you tell me. What's the purpose of the files, the structure, the directories, right? Now default. If you want to define some kind of default ones, you can just do. What is files? Under files, if you wanted to copy files or if you want to modify, you may have a configuration files here. For example, I have one configuration file. Okay, HTTP configuration file, Apache configuration file. Okay, that file I change in here, and I'm pushing it to all the machines. You understand? Okay, we can also do one more thing, one more experiment, right? So now, if you can go to files, okay, and instead of this one, I'm just making it as I'm just adding um, rm cloud.txt. I don't want this one. I'm just making like touch index.html. Index.html. I'm just creating. Okay, inside the index.html, I'm just adding some text. Like hello. Okay, I've added this one. Okay, now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tasks main.tf. Now the files,
Sir, I have one doubt.
yes,
Sir, why we giving in the destination /temp?
yeah, I'll tell you. Now instead of giving the destination /temp, I'm giving /var. Now you understand.
Because in the destination, but the temp.
Any directory, which directory you wanted to copy this file in the remote machine, which folder I wanted to put this file. Now I save this one, right? Now I go to this machine. I copy this IP address. I am putting in the browser. It's telling that it works. But what I'm doing now, I'm copying the index.html to overwrite this. Okay. For example, now if I run this Ansible playbook, now if I run this, okay, now it's copied. Now if I can go and refresh this one, it's telling hello. How? And why? Copy it to the remote directory. Okay, so the purpose of this one is that whenever we wanted to change some configuration, okay, I can copy the same file. For example, Google is there. We have already discussed with the Google, right? Google, tomorrow is Independence Day. Tomorrow the front logo will be changed. Okay, let's yeah, they may use Ansible, So what they can do is they can, in the HTML file, they can add our India logo, and they will deploy this file the main server. That particular changes will go to 1 million server at the same time. Okay, after it is done, they will revert back and run it again. All the 1 million server will be reverted back. If I come to your conclusion, right, so if you want to do everything on manually, how much time it will take for 1 million servers? They have to hire entire India, all the engineers go and change it. Okay, so this is why all the companies are doing a automation stuff. This is kind of a configuration management. What is configuration management? We are changing some configuration here. Okay, now if I can change, now tell me again, right? Now if I go to where cd my roles, okay, files, index.html, if I change to something now, something like this one, what will happen? What will happen if I run this one? So I'm just changing the configuration of this HTTP. Okay, I'm changing the configuration of the Apache server. Similarly, you can change anything. Okay, now I'm just changing. As soon as I changed here, when I just do refresh here, it will be updated with the test whatever we have mentioned. So this is what called, within a fraction of a second, all the machines, entire machines, it will be updated. Okay, so that is why we call as Ansible roles. Okay, Ansible roles. The reason why we're doing is that instead of my roles, okay, so the handlers is something like, so we have 5 structures, right? So we can see what is handlers. Handlers is nothing but so I mean, like, the handler is called as a set of actions, set of actions. But this will be very deep, if you really like. So for example, if you can go to handlers, right, like if you can go to handlers like this, and I think if there are some kind of examples of the handlers, okay. See, handlers is this one. Handlers is nothing but just a services, so just kind of a normal YAML script where you wanted to handle some kind of a scripts. This is a set of rules itself. There is nothing major in this one. Okay, handlers and include the metadata information. So this is also not very serious thing. So if you wanted to give some kind of a galaxy info, author, this one, description, all these things, if you want to give some kind of a variables, if you want to declare some kind of a metadata variables, so metadata is something like a set of variables where you want to define, you can just put it over there also. Okay, but tasks, we see the tasks. Okay, and templates is kind of a, it is kind of a, we call it a Jinja template. The Jinja template is like, it's not a ginger, it's a Jinja. Okay, so Jinja is a kind of a template. We can have it look like this. So we wanted to include the hosted team. So it's kind of one of the template where we can just write some JSON and all these things. We can just inject. For example, I want to inject some kind of variables automatically. So, or format it automatically. All these kind of things. These things will be used. In a bigger organization, there are so many templates and everything will be used. I'm using same templates to deploy to multiple files. That also can be used. Okay, the test include the configuration file related to for testing, role for testing. If you want to test something, but these folders are not mainly used. So where's we have seen, right? What is where's? Huh? Content variables names. For example, we can just also do real time, right? Now I can I go to tasks. and vi main.tf. Okay. So now here I wanted to make the index.html as a variable where it should be picking from the folders, right? So I wanted to make this entire thing as a source as a variable. What I have to do? Double colon this one, you know, my file. I'm just giving as a variable file. Now where I have to define this one? I have to go to vars.tf, come back, go to var.tf, main.yaml. Here I'm giving my file equal slash files slash index.html. This is just example, right? So if you want to create a variables and and all these things, you can just make it like this one. So that you will have all the variables in a single place. Okay. Now if you run this one, it will work. Okay. So these are all the simple examples why we are using the variables and all these things. Right? Now it's working. Um, we're using module aspect. Okay. I think it's not liking it. So what I can do is I can just go back to the vars main.tf, main.yaml. I'm just giving only index.yaml because it's not taking that slash files, the slash and all in this variable files. Okay. Now I'm going index.html only. Now I'm going to the tasks. Vi main.yaml, and instead of this thing, I'm just giving file slash. Files are file, right? Files. Okay, I'm going files, and I'm making like this one. I think even now also it's not taking, I believe. Let's see. I don't know. It's not liking that slash path and all for the variable. Okay, so but it doesn't matter, So this is just an example of how we can just write a variables. You can also make any kind of a things out of the variable, right? And HTTPD and all the other things also make it. I think it's not liking that slash root, So the slash and all so it's not picking up. Okay, instead of that we can just make it as something different, and vi files .yaml, vi tasks main.yaml. Okay, instead of this one I can make something else. Files index.yaml. Instead of this, instead of index.html, I can make it as a started. Okay, so we can make this one also as a variable. If you want to make it as a variable, I can make as a started HTTP started, something like this one, right? Okay, we can make it as a HTTP started itself. So if we can go now, where we have to go now? Vars, and var main.yaml, and instead of this one, I'm just giving started is equal to something like this one, start. I hope it should work. Just getting error, I don't know. Okay, now it's working, right? So if you want to make anything, any kind of a parameters as a variables, we can just use this kind of methods. Okay? This is what called as a Ansible Galaxy. Okay, Ansible Galaxy, right? And we also have a Ansible Galaxy itself. Ansible Galaxy as a repository itself. So if you can go here, Ansible Galaxy, okay, HTTPD. If you can give like this, it will take you to one kind of a portal. This is nothing like a Docker Hub. If you don't have a roles already, all the files, roles, everything, right? You have created, right? If you don't have that one, you can just pick all the roles from here itself. For example, you can search with HTTPD. Okay, so the config HTTPD. So there are many people have just contributed. The roles, or Apache, for example. Or okay, this is the role. Okay, this is the predefined role. You don't need to write all the. Okay, so if you can see, download tarball. Okay, I'm going to download this tarball. Okay. So now what's happening is just running. Okay, so it's just got this role installed. Okay, so we got this role. So that role will be inside. Okay, installing under this one. So you can go under this one. You can find all the files. See Apache. See meta plugins roles tests. Let's see. Go inside roles. HTTPD role. Now see all the files, tasks, whatever we have created, it's already there. You can go to the tasks. Go to here main.yaml. Now see, instead of we write our own code, you can download the code from the Ansible Galaxy. We can download the code from Ansible Galaxy. We have already downloaded, right? Like download tarball. If you download tarball, you can go this one. See, everything is there. Tests, roles, plugins, metas. If you go inside roles, HTTP, tasks, main, absent.yaml, the main.yaml, all these things will be there. See, you can. It's a predefined tasks. If you don't install Python or if you don't install Java or anything, right? You don't need to write your own, the roles. You can download these roles from the Ansible Galaxy. This is what called this is just like a Docker Hub, Docker Hub. In the Docker Hub, we have already predefined Docker images, right? Similarly, here we already have a defined Ansible files. Okay, so we can just take it up. We can just keep it here. Okay, so this is all about the Ansible. So there is nothing more to teach Ansible, right? So only thing is you have to go and practice. Okay, so you can just practice means you can just write your own application. You can just build your own code. You can automate multiple machines and all these things works you can do. But this is what's kind of a this course covers, right? Like so whatever we as part of this course we will be teaching like all the what is Ansible, where and how to change the variables, how to install and how to copy files. So some of the examples we have shown. But Ansible is very huge topic, right? Like you can just go and explore it. There are many companies are using the Ansible itself is a separate course. Actually. If you want only the Ansible itself, it costs you something like 20,000 rupees, right? But as part of this course, you know what is Ansible, how to write a playbook. And if you go for interview also, they'll ask you some kind of basic questions. Okay, but before that, do you have any questions?